Hello, and welcome to the Essential Oils and Crystals workshop. This is a super cool topic, and I just want to preface it that there's a lot to this topic that obviously we can only share so much in the time we have. But I hope this inspires you, and I hope that it offers you help in your own health. Specifically, in this workshop, we're going to talk about the pairings of essential oils and crystals and how those are used together to support health. But again, it's just one segment of this huge topic. And hopefully maybe even I'll do some more workshops that expand on it. But this is such a meaningful topic for a lot of us right now that I hope that it helps you in a lot of ways. So let's go ahead and start. So what you're going to learn in this workshop is a lot, number one, but we're going to specifically talk about how we pair essential oils and crystals. Now, I'm also going to give you some background information. We're going to talk a little history. We're going to talk a little religion. Might even throw a little politics in there for entertainment. But in all reality, essential oils and crystals are not new, but they are medicinal and they've been used for centuries. And this resurgence of popularity that we see now is simply because the trend is that more and more people are turning back to holistic and natural means to support their health. And this is a really interesting modality in that it's often very inexpensive and people can incorporate it easily into their health to get the support that they need. And when you understand how to use these tools together, you really empower yourself to take more and more control of your own health. And that's what's really driving the popularity behind a lot of this natural and holistic means that you see people talking about these days. So a little bit about me before we get too far into this is my name is Amy, and I'm a certified holistic health practitioner and soon to be certified traditional naturopath. Super excited about that. And very meaningful journey that I've been on to grow in this area of knowledge and be able to share it with you. I specialize in traditional modalities of natural health. And that's things like traditional Chinese medicine, herbs, homeopathy, aromatherapy, Reiki, and I use all of them, right? And help you get to natural solutions to support your health. And often, it's very simple answers, but when you combine it with modern knowledge and experience, it really enhances the experience for a lot of us. And we find healing in the old ways, and it's helpful and it still works. So I enjoy bringing that to people. I enjoy helping people feel their best every day. I believe that we were all uniquely brought here in the earth to do good things, and our bodies were designed to self-heal and maintain health so that we could do those things. And when we live more in alignment to nature's design, then we feel our best every single day. We have more energy, we sleep well, we eat well, and things just happen that are better for us. So I do believe each of us are unique, and our approach to healthcare should also be personalized to our own specific needs. So with me, you will see I do offer online and in-person health support. I have an online store full of herbs and natural medicines and supplements. And I have my business is called Dragon Spit Apothecary, and you can set up time with me and work with me and get the help you need for your particular health situation. So as we get into this topic, again, there's lots of different aspects to it, but we're going to focus on specific energies around crystals and essential oils. And again, I am going to talk about religion because that does come into play with this particular topic, because there's a lot of concern that this may not be in alignment with certain practices when it comes to religion. So I'm not shy, so I'm going to bring it forward and tell you what I know about that and share my opinion on it. We'll spend some time on quality and safety because that's important on any natural medicine that you use. And then we're going to talk about why you use crystals and how oils in your health, how they can be helpful. And then we'll get to the really fun part, which is where I offer you some pairings and how they work together. And then I'll leave you with how to get more help and access to the information that I shared in this workshop. So let's begin with just a very basic understanding of energy and frequency, energetic vibrations. You may even hear it referred to. So everything on this planet, including us, are energy, and it's constantly being shared, distributed, gathered in and around us. You can't get away from it. Okay. And everything that has a frequency has a different strength to that, right? It has a different vibration of how strong that frequency can be. And when you leverage this and understand what it's doing in your own body, you can use it to influence change that you want to see happen, whether that's in how we think, in our routines, in our habits, in our health. Okay. And when you pair things like natural elements of essential oils and crystals, we're using them to enhance our own energy. Okay. They complement what we already have within our body and they strengthen it. And so that's whether that's emotional or physical strength or even spiritual strength, these things can enhance that experience and stimulate healing within the body. I'm actually going to show you how that works. So, with that kind of general definition of energy and frequency in mind, it's important to understand that each oil and each crystal have their own frequency. And you have to kind of have a little bit of knowledge around how that works in order to use it in your health. And this is why a lot of people will say natural doesn't work or I had a bad experience with it. Often it's because they didn't have the right guidance to get what they needed in place to support themselves. They were using the wrong stuff, or they were using stuff that wasn't of good quality, and they had a poor experience with it. And that's why it's so important to work with someone like me who can help you navigate this field because it's big, there's a lot of information around there, and you want to make sure that you always have good information to work from. Now, when you have the right combination of elements, whether it's herbs, supplements, essential oils, or crystals, or any of it, it's using it to stimulate your own bodies to heal, right? Your own body can do this work, and you support it with these natural elements to do that. It's not this oil will cure me or this crystal will make me better. It's enhancing your own body's ability to do those things instead. And that's a really important distinction because we were designed to heal ourselves. Okay. And these things enhance our ability to do that. Now, a fun fact, when you are intentionally drawn to something, let's say lavender is a really appealing aroma for a lot of people, or you're repelled by the smell of lavender, that can indicate things to us, specifically where energy is being blocked in our body, or it's deficient, or maybe you have too much of that. And that influences our energetic pathways in the body, which respond to the different frequencies of that lavender oil. And I'm going to give you some really good examples of that as we go through this material, but I want you to keep this in mind that there's a reason things appeal to you and there's a reason things really don't work for you. Okay. And you have to understand your own makeup to understand why you're getting those kind of experiences. So let's start with our emotions. You have all kinds of emotions in your body right now. And not only things that you feel and have experienced, but things you have inherited and generations back can be passed on and carried within the human body. And so you have different frequencies as a result of all these emotions floating around in your cells. And not only do you have that, but you have current incoming stimulus that is triggering other kind of feelings, right? So it's a constant storm of feelings all the way up and down the scale that you see that are in your body right now. And so you can start to see how complex it can be if you're looking at this emotion scale and then you look at the physical scale, which I have a little bit of information about that coming up, and you look at essential oils and crystals scales, you start to see that understanding where our frequencies are can be really messy when you're trying to navigate, well, what should I use for what? And that is why it's so hard to answer that question when someone just randomly says, I have this pain. What do I take for it? It's not always that easy to answer. So, a really simple example of this is when you walk into a room, let's say you're walking into a party and you feel, maybe it's intuition, but you feel a vibration from that party. You're like, ooh, I don't want to be here, or yes, I can't wait to get in there, right? Because it's energetic, it's fun, it feels good, or it doesn't feel so good, right? That is frequency. That's what we're talking about here. And it's on an emotional level, it's on a physical level, and it's on all the things that are going on around you. Okay. So when you understand where you are on in general on the frequency scales, then you start to kind of unlock what I need for different things to support those questions of what do I take for what? Okay. So here's some examples of the essential oils and crystal frequencies. And you can see things like rose and clear quartz cluster, they have very high frequencies. And they range, they're all over the place, right? And this is only a small sampling. We know that there's lots of different options when it comes to crystals and essential oils. And you only get these kind of frequencies when it is an organic, pure source. You're not going to get it from something that's lab made or synthetic or artificial. This is only possible when it's a pure organic source. Okay. And that's super important when you're using these things medicinally. Now, look at that last column for a minute. These are some of the organs in the body, and you'll see that their frequencies are much, much lower than what you see with oils and crystals. And we, cumulatively, we have a lot of frequencies going on in the body. And, it's you top, your thyroid frequency with your emotion frequencies, and it gets muddy really, really quick. So this is why it's important to know how much to use of what, and why we sometimes get repelled by things, because if your frequency is out of balance, let's say you have something going on with your thyroid and your frequency is lower than this normal range, then it might not respond well to just blasting it with a high, um, thyme essential oil that you apply to your neck, right? It may not, it may be overwhelming for your thyroid to experience that. So you have to work with your body and what feels good and do that gradually. Okay. Now let's look at some different experiences and things that people can have that cause them pain or discomfort. And these are the frequencies that can be used to help harmonize those interruptions. And again, you want to be careful if you start using crystals and essential oils that you just don't jump to, applying 396 megahertz for relieving fear and guilt, right? Because you might not be ready for that full dose, if you will. You kind of have to gauge and step into this as you're ready, as you feel ready to take on more, right? You step into it. And no one can tell you that right step dosage to increase or decrease more than you, right? Because we are all unique. But you can see, for instance, let's say I had pain in my knee and I'm looking for relief. You can see that's a lower frequency. 174 is not bad. And I can apply different oils and crystals to my knee to help stimulate rebuilding or reducing the inflammation that's going on in that area. And that's where this can be really, really helpful. But again, when you're dealing with particularly the emotion side of this, you want to be very mindful of how much you're ready to do and not overwhelm the body, because that will cause more stress and complicate the healing process. So, a little bit about religion. I actually have I have a minor in world religion. And as a result of that, I had to read all the major religious texts that are out there. And it's super interesting to me on several fronts, because we often think there's these drastic differences in beliefs and things that are important in these religious systems. But at their core, they share a lot of commonalities. And one of those commonalities is that crystals and essential oils are mentioned in all of them. Every single one of them, whether it's the Bible, whether it's the Quran, whether it's the Torah, or any of the others, they mention crystals and essential oils. So it's not um, it's not anything that wasn't considered religiously. And they're used for good, right? They're used for the benefit of, of healing and supporting and for celebration and for ceremony. And it's it's very appropriate to use them. They were created for that reason. Now, a little bit of just really awesomeness, I think, is that both heaven and the holy priest breastplate are described as having precious gems included in the walls of heaven, and the streets are gold, and the walls are these brilliant jewels, and the breastplate has all the gems from the 12 nations of Israel, right? This is important to know because these are the same crystals and it's the same frankincense that is mentioned in the Bible that we are talking about today, right? It's the same stuff. So there's not this distortion or separation between natural medicines and religious beliefs. And I encourage you, if you have questions or want to talk about this, I'm more than happy to go into it in more detail with you. Okay, now a little bit about quality and safety, because this is really big, and I always emphasize this, whether it's with crystals and oils or herbs, all of it. You have to treat these as medicine. They are therapeutic, they are healing, they are specifically designed for purposes to help us feel our best. So again, if you're going to use artificial, synthetic, alterated, adulterated, or inferior things, then number one, you're not going to get the benefits that you're looking for, and you could actually cause more harm than good. So it's super important to make sure you know where things come from that you're using, and that you know how to use them safely. Follow the labels that are on things. Reach out to me. I would rather someone reach out to me and ask a question before they just randomly take advice from so and so who, you know, are not trained in this topic. And I want you to use them. I don't want you to be afraid of them, but I want you to have a respect for them, to know how to use them in the best way to serve you. Okay, so always read your labels and always use good, organic, pure sources when you're using anything natural for your health. Okay, some common uses. Crystals and essential oils are both used across the four pillars of our health, and that's for physical needs, emotional needs, mental health, well being, and spiritual health needs. And when you have balance across those four pillars, that is when we actually have perfect homeostasis and are able to maintain health. We have the best chances to protect our energy. We have the what we need to feel our best. That's that perfect spot, right? And it's normal to have imbalances in one or more of those pillars. It's perfectly normal. But your body is constantly trying to strive for that perfect spot. And we can use crystals and essential oils to help create that balance and support our body in getting to that homeostatic position. So there's lots of ways that you can use these in health, and some of the modalities that I use them with is with meditation, qigong, Reiki, chakra balancing, mud packing, which I personally love seeing that happen with people because it's so amazing the results. It's so quick. Reflexology, aromatherapy, massage, and acupressure. There's lots of others, but these are the ones that I commonly use and refer to clients to help support their health. And a lot of the reasons people are doing this is because it does help with pain. It does help with the nervous system. It helps with our mental well-being and emotional support that we feel like we need. It helps with hormonal balancing, right? Which is so important these days with all the toxic things that we're around. And it helps with our immune protection. I don't think we can have enough immune support right now. And we've been kind of misled with what that means, but ultimately it's helping our digestive system and our microbiome be in the best health it can be so that our immune system can respond to threats around us. And when you don't have that, you're at risk for illness, and illness turns into disease, and disease turns into chronic things that are really devastating. So I firmly believe that oils and crystals are very integral in the support system, and there's good, healthy ways to use them on a regular basis. It's also really good for stress and relaxation and sleep, which, again, these are the cornerstones of health that support our four pillars that are always in striving for that perfect balance where we are healthy and feel our best and we're in a good headspace and things are going well for us. Okay. Now let's get into some of the fun part. When you pair essential oils and crystals together, you are maximizing what they can do on their own because they're pretty powerful on their own. But when you pair them together, it just it maximizes, it enhances the experience, it makes it deeper, it makes it stronger, and the results are intense sometimes. And that's why it's so important to navigate this with care because you don't want to overstimulate the body and you don't want to do more than what you're ready to or equipped to handle, right? So it's incredible to see the results. I think this is wonderful medicine we can all personally use, but you again kind of have to know the rules of the road when doing it. So here's some examples of what this looks like. So blue satellite and hinoki. I really love this combination. So hinoki is a wonderful woody oil um, that helps us really work on self-control. And I've used this with clients with emotional eating or mindlessly eating, and they're trying to break this habit, but they're really struggling with it. Hinoki is a wonderful oil for that type of situation. But when you pair it with this particular crystal, what you end up doing is discovering the root cause, because sometimes we don't know why we're doing the things we're doing, right? We don't know what happened where we're now on binge watching Netflix and eating ice cream every night, right? We feel like we don't have control over that, but it feels good. And although later we feel guilt and shame for it, right? It's what we find ourselves habitually doing. These two together really create that combination where we can really safely dig into why that's happening and feel empowered to make improvements. And it it's really these two are just wonderful to see working together. When you get to that point and you're ready to take on the work of self improvement, for those kind of habitual patterns that we're trying to improve, this is the stuff. Okay, amethyst and lavender. Now, these are two very, very popular, well known materials in the natural medicine apothecary world. Lavender, as we know, it's a soft oil. We love to use it for sleep, relaxation, stress management. It's all the things, right? Well, it actually emotionally helps us unlock our special qualities about ourselves. It helps us enter that safe space where we can feel ourselves and explore what that means, right? What our gifts are. Allows us to dream and feel safe about it. Now, amethyst. This is really super cool about this crystal. If you put amethyst under your pillow, it actually helps promote good dreams, right? It keeps away the nightmares, if you will. And it helps to dispel those bad thoughts that we can have and help us be more gentle with ourselves, not so punishing. And so when you are in this stressful situations and you feel like the world is against you and we're really striving to find that place to relax and recover, these two are really powerful together. And they help us get that good quality sleep so that we can wake up with a clear head, open heart, and navigate these tougher situations in life without so much of that stress being carried forward over and over and over again before it becomes chronic. Okay, so again, medicinally, this is just a wonderful little pairing that is easy and it's a good one to just help us on the stress levels. Green moonstone and tea tree. Mm. Okay, a lot of people are familiar with tea tree oil, and it's a wonderful oil for a lot of different uses. But I want to tell you about the energetic properties of this oil. So, it actually, when you use tea tree oil, you're basically creating a bubble around yourself. And that bubble is a protection field, and it helps you balance the heart chakra. And often, when we need this is when we have these self-limiting beliefs. We don't think we deserve something. We're really hard on ourselves. The negative self-talk is going on. Tea tree oil is really good at helping us balance that. Now, when you pair it with moonstone, we're also dealing with our hormone balance. And what I have found, particularly with my women clients, is that our hormones often trigger these feelings of unworthiness, unlovability, not feeling good enough. It often triggers with certain points in our hormone cycle. So having this pairing kind of helps bring that balance and we can navigate that a little bit better. It's a beautiful situation to have this by our side when that happens. Now, personal favorite, lime and turquoise. I have played with this one a lot and it's one that I use quite a bit in my own health. Lime is all about spontaneity, it's about having fun, it's about being open to new adventures and situations and relationships, and helping us feel confident and governing love that comes in and out of our life, and helping us kind of follow our heart, if you will, and feel good about it and know that we're out there doing good in the world every day. Okay, that's what lime is associated with on the energetic level. Turquoise is helping us realize that we are in control, right? We're actually in the driver's seat of our life, and we can be calm and trust our intuition. It's not going to guide us wrong. And we can use that to help us create what our life should look like. Okay. And so, again, you can start to see why these two are paired together, that they can really help us navigate these tough situations in life where we don't know what our purpose is. We don't know how to change big situations in the world or in our communities. And yet, when we get to that point, we can start to see we can follow our dreams and create positive experiences for ourselves and those around us. And we can trust our intuition to be correct and to follow our heart, and do what we were called to do in this life. This is a wonderful pairing. And again, my personal favorite, I rely on this one quite a bit. Okay, wonderful little oil here called vanilla. Mm, this is a great oil. The doTERRA Madagascar vanilla is incredible. This vanilla oil is associated with creativity, and you'll see the word fertility here. That can both mean, giving birth to a baby or giving birth to ideas or innovation or enrichment and those types of things. It helps us find delight and pleasure in creating, okay, and seeing our dreams come into reality and working on that transformation of making that happen. Now, the fun thing is, it also helps us trigger that sexual appeal about ourselves, that we are beautiful, we are worthy, we got it going on. It's all of those things. Okay. When you pair it with tourmaline, yes, it's called the stone of wisdom for a reason, but it actually works to strengthen the heart, and it creates this ability to see where our creativity can be used on a community level. So now you're talking, not only did I have this dream, I started bringing it into reality, but now I'm taking it out into the world and sharing it with others. Okay, you see the connection here? These two are really powerful. Um, and I'll be completely honest, I've been using them in my own education and building of my business. These are ones that I use regularly for that purpose. Now, whoa, patchouli and obsidian. Oh, yes, let's talk about this. I personally love patchouli. It's one of my favorite aromas because number one, it's exotic and it's spicy, and it is actually one that helps us with our focus, and it helps us be aware, right? And explore things without fear. And you use it a lot when you do shadow work. And when you are working through really tough things, trauma, difficult experiences, uncertainty, you know, all of those things, patchouli is a wonderful oil to use in meditative practices. Now, obsidian helps to drive out fear, and it helps with that broken heart situation. And it helps with trauma from those situations, which often lead to limiting beliefs and uncertainty about ourselves. Okay. Now, a little story. I got sent by my job to Puerto Rico. I know that's horrible. And I had to spend about a month there doing a specific job. So on weekends, I did the touristy things because I'm like, this is a great opportunity to look around Puerto Rico. So one Saturday, I went down to Old San Juan, was walking around the markets and checking, just having a great day, right? I had no agenda. It was wonderful. And I was walking down this one street, and this lady grabbed my arm and said, "You must come into my shop." And I thought she was just gonna sell me something. I'm like, "Oh, no, no, not buying anything today." She said she was very, very insistent and said, "Come into my shop," and was dragging me in there. So I'm like, "Oh, okay, here we go." Um, and she walks to the counter and she grabs this necklace. I didn't know it at the time, but it was obsidian. And she put it in my hand and she said, "You need this." I was like, "Well, I wasn't really planning to buy any jewelry today. It's lovely, but not really interested," right? Trying to just think she's trying to make a sale. She said, "No, no, no. You don't buy it. I give it to you. You need this." And she said to me, "You need to wear this necklace every single day, and you will know when you no longer need it." Now, kind of freaked me out. But I walked out of the store with this necklace around my neck, and it stayed on my neck for probably a good year. At the time, I was going through a divorce, and my heart was broken. I was uncertain of my future. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know how to, I'm scared of how to support myself. And I was starting a whole new life. There's a lot of uncertainty around that, right? Okay, so fast forward a year, I'm wearing this necklace and it breaks and the pieces go everywhere. And I still have the pieces. They're in my jewelry box. I never put the necklace back together though. What happened is my heart healed and I was in a new relationship with the man that I'm currently married to. We've been married 15 years now, 13, between 13 and 15 years. It's one of those times. I don't even know how long we've been married now. Um, and it really, I never really gave much thought to why this lady was telling me that until this happened. And it could have been just coincidence, right? Maybe the necklace string gave out and it was done. But I really choose to believe that what she said was right and that my heart was ready to move on and that I was in a better place and I was going to be okay. So this is actually the stone that started my interest in crystals and why I have ultimately ended up where I'm at. Um, so I do think there's power in this, and this is my testimony around it. But I can tell you, when you use obsidian and patchouli together, um, this is one of those ones that you want to be ready to walk into those dark spaces and start figuring stuff out. It is one of those that you really want to be ready to to work through because it's pretty revealing and it's ultimately healthy and good and we want to get there, but you want to be ready for that. Okay. All right. So let's talk about how you use all these together. Now, number one is making sure that you have the right oil and the right crystal for what you're wanting to support. And you're considering what you individually need and what works best for you. And that's why working with someone like me can help you navigate those. But I know there's a lot of books, a lot of information out there, and it is okay to experiment. But again, if you have questions and you need help or you don't know where to start, working with someone with me can really save you a lot of angst. Now, once you get the right pairing, then there's some methods you can use. And it's wonderful to, again, experiment and try different things. But this is where using quality matters and being safe about it is important. For example, some crystals and some oils are not ingestible. Okay. And again, if you're going to use poor quality ones, I wouldn't recommend consuming them at all. But you just want to know what you're doing. Okay. And again, I'm happy to help with this. Once you understand the method that's right to use, then you can apply the right modality and techniques to applying it and using it in the way that's right to help stimulate healing. Okay. So it is a multi-step process. and it's a very it's creating medicine for yourself, right? And I help you do this, and we figure it out together, and we apply it and we use it in a way that's safe and effective to help you see the results you're trying to achieve. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a very good example that I highly recommend doing at home, and it's called aromatic frequency therapy. Okay. Now, I actually use what's called a mat. There's a picture of it in the chart here. But a mat has these rows of crystals. There's actually 7 different types of crystals in it. And you lay on it, or as you see this lady's meditating on it, and it heats up. And it's really fantastic. It feels incredible. And the vibrations of the crystals get absorbed into the body, and it's relaxing and soothing, and it stimulates the healing. Now, where you can use essential oils with this is you can apply them to the body and then lay on the mat. You can diffuse them, which I personally love to do, and it creates this combination of them working together in a very safe way that's controllable by you. Okay, we actually do this a lot in my house. I'll bring out the mat, and I'll put what I'm feeling like I need in the diffuser, and no joke, I will take a wonderful nap on this and feel just refreshed and better when I get up from it. And I've compared it to being better than a massage in a lot of situations because it just is that soothing and relaxing to me. So it's a wonderful way to experience crystals and oils together, and it's a very safe way for you to, if you're not really good at pairing things together, this is a good way to experiment without worrying about some of the side effects and things like that. Okay, so what I recommend is, kind of getting curious and looking at your specific health needs and where oils and crystals might make sense to work together in those healing support structure that you need to build. And you can work with me. I do online and in-person sessions. I do only recommend doTERRA essential oils. I think they've really got good game on the quality and the science behind them, and they really stand behind their product. Um, I do like Energy Muse crystals. I have bought several of them and tried them and compared them to other things that I've bought, and I think they've got a good variety, reasonably priced, and I'm pretty happy with them. The mat, I do sell those as well, and I've got a link there to access it if you would like to check out the mat. And then, of course, I do have the online apothecary with supplements and herbs and all the good stuff there. So I think the point here is, figuring out what exactly would work best for you, and then putting the right framework around it to allow you to experience it in a safe way that stimulates healing in your body. Okay. And if you would like to work with me or connect, my information is here. And again, you'll find me on social media. I actually have a private face group called Dragon's Pit Vault. I share lots of information in there. And then usually the vault is the first place that I will put any announcements for new classes, such as this workshop, or sales that I run, or special offers. The vault is usually my first place where you can get that kind of intel, as well as just really good regular support information. And then, of course, I'm on Instagram. Feel free to reach out to me there. And I want to thank you for attending the workshop, and wish that you be well. And if you would like any of my resources that I use to conduct and build this seminar, you're more than welcome to get them. Again, in your email will be links to this deck that I used in the workshop itself, as well as links to purchase any of the products that were mentioned. So thank you for attending. If you have questions, I want you to reach out to me. I'm going to flash again my contact information because the last thing I want anyone to walk away from is if you have questions on this topic, I'm more than happy to help you navigate it and help you find the right solutions for you. Have a great day and we'll talk again soon.